guys, today I wanted to talk to you about concealers. This is a handful of every concealer that I own, and I wanted to go through and give you a little mini review of each one, and I will swatch them on my arm for you so you can compare them. And for you other pale princesses out there, I'll be telling you which are my favorites for super fair skin. So if you want to hear my favorites, hear my likes and dislikes, then please keep watching. Okay, let's get right into it. Let's start with drugstore. My favorite drugstore concealers would definitely have to be the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind concealers. I have two of them right here. I have the shade Fair and the shade Brightener Illuminator, which is more of like a peachy undertone shade to help with your dark circles. I really like these. They're a really creamy texture and they set to a really nice finish. They set really easily, even though they're really creamy. I don't feel like I have to set them with a powder if I'm just kind of in a rush. So I'm going to go ahead and swipe those on my arm for you. Here is the shade Fair. And right underneath it, I will put the Brightener shade, which you can tell that's a lot more peachy pink than that is. The shade Fair does look a little bit dark. It's light enough that I can use it on my under eye area, but I also really like this for blemishes because of the texture. It is a full coverage, and since it's not super light on me, it doesn't draw attention to my blemishes. So those are my two favorite drugstore options. When I use the Brightener, I layer it underneath the Fair shade. So there's those again. Another one of my drugstore favorites is NYX. I absolutely love NYX products, and you can get these at Ulta and Target, but Target does not have as good of a selection as Ulta does. But I have the NYX HD Concealer in CW01 Porcelain. This one also has kind of a yellowy, peachy undertone, but I really feel like it brightens up my under eye. This also dries to a really nice matte finish, and I just love this for my under eye area on more of like natural days. Even with full coverage days, I've been using this a lot more. So there's the NYX concealer right there. Then there is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. I just discovered this recently after hearing once again one of my favorite YouTubers, the Taylor, talk about it. And I have it in shade 15 Fair, which the shade range is kind of weird because the lightest shade, or what you would think is the lightest shade, is called 10 Light, but it's a lot darker than the 15 Fair. So I really like this. I would almost call it a dupe for the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer because it is super creamy. It is full coverage. I love it for under my eyes. There were a few days that I just kind of put this on the areas of my face that I felt like I wanted coverage and blended it out with my beauty blender, and I almost use this like a foundation. I just really like the formula of this. So there is that right there. So, okay, my last drugstore concealer that I have is one that I don't really like. I'm really disappointed with it. It's the Rimmel Match Perfection Concealer. Let's just start off, I hate the applicator. It's like a brush applicator, which those get really gunky and gross. And I have it in the shade 125 Fair, and it says 2-in-1 concealer and highlighter. The formula of it just is not good. I did not feel like it covered my dark circles very well, and I just felt like I had to really pile it on and it never really set. So there it is right there. I was really excited about it because Rimmel is usually good for us fair skin ladies. They usually do a really good job of having shades in their foundations and concealers that are light enough, such as I really love the 25-hour foundation, but I'm just not happy with this concealer at all. Okay, now on to high-end. I really don't have a ton of high-end concealers, but let's get the one out of the way that I'm not crazy about. It's the Kat Von D Lock-It Tattoo Concealer. I do like the formula of it. I have it in shade Light 16. I'm pretty sure this is the lightest they have. It's the lightest they had when I bought it. And most of the reason why I don't like it is just simply because it's way too dark for me. When you see this on my skin, it almost looks like a mocha color right there on the bottom. I mean, right there on the bottom. It's just way too dark. I would never put this under my eyes because it's so dark. And I've tried it for blemishes, and it's okay for blemishes. It does set to a really nice finish, and it does not budge. I'll probably have to scrub it off my arm. But it's just not light enough for me, so because of that, I don't use it. I also have the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye. This I really, really like. This does not budge. It's super creamy, but it's super full coverage. I'm actually pretty much out of it. I'm gonna have to scrape the sides of this to get it out. But I just really like this concealer. It completely hides my dark circles. It can be a little bit cakey, and it can settle into your creases if you apply too much, but the thing is just you really don't need that much. You don't have to go crazy with it. And I have this, I got it in the little duo that they sell, and I have it in the shade Light, but there's actually a shade Fair that I'm going to get when I repurchase this. But there's the shade Light, and you can see the shade Light's already the brightest and lightest out of all of these concealers. So I really love this on days when I have really, really bad dark circles. This is super full coverage, and I love to use this on full coverage days. Now, last but not least, my favorite concealer of all time, definitely lives up to the hype, is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. And I have it in the shade Light 1 Chantilly, which is the lightest shade they have. This is just the most beautiful concealer I've ever seen. It is so creamy, like its name says. It blends out beautifully with your finger or the beauty blender. It completely hides my dark circles. I can use it on other areas of my face. It's just beautiful. I would call it more of a medium to full coverage, but it is buildable, and it just really lives up to the hype. So there's the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer right there. My favorite, definitely ever. So those are all of the concealers that I own. I hope you enjoyed this video. I just wanted to kind of go through my concealer collection with you and tell you what my favorites are and why. If you have any questions, put them down below, and I would love it if you commented down below what your favorite concealer is. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see y'all soon. Thank you.